Hey guys, I bought the all-in-one rack so you don't have to. If I were buying gym equipment today, I would not buy this setup, the Rogue FM-6. Not because it's weak, not because it's cheap, not because there's anything wrong with it, but because living with it taught me something that I didn't understand when I ordered it. Let me explain. What's going on, guys? Drew here with Iron and Lime Fitness. If you're new here, welcome to the garage. Everything you see in this gym is equipment I paid for, trained on, and lived with long enough to form a real opinion. There's no sponsorships, no free gear, and no incentive for me to tell you what you want to hear. My rule is simple. If it's in this gym, it earns its keep, or eventually makes its way to Facebook Marketplace. That way I can recoup just enough money to convince my wife to let me keep buying gym equipment. Today, we're talking about the Rogue FM-6 setup, this right here behind me. Not the Instagram version, not the day one, everything's perfect version, but this is the long-term, real use perspective. I've had it for just about a year. What it does well, where it creates friction, and what I would honestly do different if I were starting over today. Because when I bought this, I thought, this is it. One rack to rule them all. This is my forever setup. Turns out nothing humbles you like reconfiguring your rack for a lat pull down and a low row at 5:30 in the morning because you were just doing squats and bench the night before. Let's start with what this thing does right, because there was a lot of strengths here. First, it's solid. It's Rogue. It's overbuilt. It's built right. It's engineered well. When you unrack weight, it feels planted in the ground. There's no flex where there shouldn't be, no sketchy movements. That matters when you train alone. I need equipment I can trust. I need equipment that I know is going to support the weight because I don't have a spotter at all times. Now, full transparency, the front uprights do have a little movement when you're doing weighted dips and weighted movements off the side. You can see that in my Mutant Metals review for the UDA. But in practice, it's negligible and you don't really feel it, and it doesn't affect training. The lat pull down and low row are smooth, big win. The resistance is consistent, the movement feels natural, and you're not fighting the machine. The pulleys overall, they're smooth and well executed, some of the best I've felt. That's something that people underestimate until they're on a system that doesn't have good pulleys. The footprint's practical, 49 by 49 outside. It sounds really large on paper. It still leaves room to actually use the garage for real life. For instance, we parked our other car on the other side of the garage. And then structurally, the foundation is strong. 3x3 steel with 1-inch alternating holes. It's a good ecosystem for attachments and future flexibility. On paper, this setup does everything. And that's the honeymoon phase. Eventually, reality shows up. This is where living with it changes your perspective. The 49 to 49 inch width is a trade-off. Sometimes it's great. Other times, plates contact the uprights when you're stepping out. Specialty bars feel tight. Just this morning, I wanted to do overhead presses inside the rack, and I didn't feel comfortable because the spacing was too tight. You start to realize sandwich J-cups aren't an upgrade on the FM-6. It's almost a requirement. Then there's the trolleys. On day one, they look clean and efficient. 6 months in, you realize they interfere with certain attachments and completely prevent others. Jammer arms, for example, are not even an option. You don't decide not to use them, the rack decides for you. Now let's talk about the cable protection shrouds as well. On paper, they make a lot of sense. I had kids. One of the biggest reasons I wanted them was to protect the kids' fingers. In real world use, though, they block attachments from passing through the rack. Mutant Metals bars, they're not going to work. Surplus strength spotter arms, you're not able to put the pin in. Not going to happen, right? There's no way to get around the shrouds. That matters, especially for people with limited space who need to use the middle upright and they're not able to kind of have as much space in front of the rack. So consider that. In practice, these uprights are really just limited to J-cups and the flip down safeties and the spotter arms without the pin in them. There's really no way to get around it. And then there's a pulley balance. So the pulleys are super smooth. 2-to-1, 1-to-1 works. I've had a floating plate on mine for just about the whole time. I've tried loosening the trolleys, and it just finally now the cable's starting to stretch out enough to where that floating plate is seated. So that issue is kind of a non-issue now, but it was an issue for the majority of my year, which then led to certain times trying to push the pin in, it would kind of catch because the plate was not seated. The top plate was not seated. So just something to consider. Probably just a my rack issue, but it was something that was an issue previously. All right, so this is the lesson that most people don't hear before they buy. All-in-one systems promise efficiency. One footprint, one structure, one purchase. But when everything's combined into a single unit, every compromise compounds. Attachments compete for space. Design choices limit other functions. Small frictions add up over time. I lift 5 days a week, every morning, sometimes 6. So these things really start to build. If I were starting from scratch today, I wouldn't go all-in-one on an FM-6. I would go modular. I would do a 6-post power rack, something like the RM6. I would do separate dual pulleys and have a dedicated lat pull down and low row. More space? Yes. More setup? Absolutely. More money? Probably. But cleaner training, fewer headaches, and no early morning compromises just to get those lat pull downs and low rows set up, which has really started to become kind of a slog in my workout when I have an hour dedicated and at least 5 to 10 minutes of that over the hour is setting up and taking down things because there's only one space for me to do all my work. So it's a benefit and a drawback depending on your situation. Here's the honest takeaway. The Rogue FM-6, it's not bad equipment at all. It's strong, reliable, fully capable, and I would really recommend it for the right person. But if you're still shopping, slow down, consider exactly what your requirements in your space are, and don't just ask how much a rack can do on day one. Ask what it may prevent you from doing later on. And when you're looking at a rack and multi-use roller combo that comes in over $7,400 shipped, that question matters. The best gym setup encourages efficiency, so you can focus on training. When equipment gets in your way, it stops being a tool and it starts being a roommate. Buy once, cry once is something I always say, but think twice before you commit. My dad used to say, measure twice, cut once. Same concept. So if this helped, hit like, subscribe, drop your questions below. I read and respond to all of them. I really do appreciate everybody that watches these videos and engages with comments. I love coming out here and measuring things and making sure everybody has the answers they need. And for me, this really is a passion project. I enjoy working out. I enjoy fitness. The Army, one of the big things in the Army we focus on is fitness and strength. So it's very near and dear to my heart. So if this video helped you, please just let me know and like and subscribe. And I look forward to hearing from you. Stay strong.